Hello everybody who's watching this video today, and I have a, don't want to say a theory, but a little interesting fact that I found out when I was watching the stand-up math video, and I was honestly quite surprised that it works, and I didn't actually found anything about it. It's not really a math problem, but you can actually find out whether or not a number is a prime just based on the angle. Now, I have a few. I don't have a software to work properly with math equations, so I simply look it up on the internet and I just found something. I don't know the name even, but I don't use it. I just found it and draw some shapes, and I want you to explain this algorithm that you can actually create quite easily. And it's actually a decent way how to find primes. It's deterministic. However, for the computer-based sciences, it's deterministics in regular math, not with the roundings, etc., that we do with the IT in the computers, because you would need fractions to be for it to be stable. Say, sorry, but if we look at what we have here, we have the primal, you know, a circle. We'll add a little bit of width to it. Now, this is basically the infinity, and we are starting, at our point here. Now, if we look at this red one, it's basically the two. It has the angle 180. If we look at the number 2, because it has two corners or points, I don't know how to say it in English, but basically one would be only the center. You can't do it, right? Anything with it, with one, and it's slightly different. But then you have a 2, which divides this circle into two halves. Now, we know that since there is nothing that comes across with the 2, we know that the 2 is prime, basically, on my assumption. That there's no crossing between them. This is a 0 point, so we remove it as everything. So now we look at the number 3, which would be the same side triangle. I don't know how to say it in English, but basically 60 degrees, which means that the angle, if we look at it here as a 0, here will be 120, 240. Now we have a triangle, right? Now this is also prime because it doesn't conflict with any existing point on this top half, right? If we look at the number 4, right, we see that the number 4 is here. So it's already not a prime, because we already have a point here, right? I think maybe we will stick with 180 right now, but I think it might decrease with time as well, so we will find new primes on a smaller angle. So if you look at the number 4, we know that it's not a prime, that it's an even number, and here we can see it because it already points at the 180 degrees, which means that at this point 4 is already not a prime, right? We don't need to check the bottom half or anything, but from this visualization we can see that the angle is 0, 90, 180, 270, etc. Now we go to 5, right? 5 is another prime number, as we know, simple. But we can see that nothing at this moment has the same points, at least except for this one, which is the reference point, or I don't know, the beginning, or however you want to call it. There is no crossings with others, previous ones. So with our pentagram or 5-sided n-gon, we see that the angle is 72 on it. 360 divided by 5 is 72. And we see that there are no numbers that would go for it. Now we'll point this slightly out of it. Now we have the 6 gone, or 6, yeah, 6 gone, I think it's called. Now we look at it, we add a little bit width into it. We'll change the color slightly. And now we can see that it's 60, right? The inner circle of each part is 60 degrees. So it's 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, and 300. And 360 it would be. Now, as we can see, that the 6 actually crosses in 2 points. So it's 2 and 3, aka 2 and 3, right? 6 equals 2, 2 by 3. These two are primes, so we already have it. So this is how we can actually generate the prime numbers. Sorry, how to generate numbers from primes as well. Now, this doesn't have a 7, but it would be the same thing. It would basically be, or I can't find it. Sorry for that. But now we can get to, I think this was 8. There is an 8, right? And 8 is the same, doesn't matter. Now, if we look at the 10, however, even if we know that this point is not working, so it's not a prime, but if we look at it better, we say somewhere like this. This is a 10, and this is a 5. And as we know, each two sides, this is 36, this is 72. So we already see that at these points, it will work for the 10 gone. That it's not actually, if it wasn't 10, it was like 15. It would be spaced slightly differently, but it would point into several points as well. So as you can see, as you go further and further, those angles will appear. However, as you might assume, you might get something like, I don't know, this angle, or several different angles. However, sorry, divided by 7, which is not a which is not a whole number. It's a fraction number. If you look at it this way, it's a fraction. So if we're using a computer, this will round up to some value. And if we use that in a database instead of 180 divided by 7, then it will not work up at really high numbers. It basically, the precision will destroy it. So yeah, it doesn't work, but I think it's really nice. Also, if you look at it from a certain perspective, you could say that, if I'm not mistaken, you could also, instead of 120, you can use radians, right? And that would be pi. And the number 2 would be pi. And then you would have like 2/3 of pi, etc. 1/4 of pi, etc. So yeah, I think that's just interesting. I just did it in like a half an hour, that I thought of. I haven't seen it. Maybe this is well known. I really have no idea. We'll just publish it without any modification to it. Maybe slight denoise, but yeah. I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a regular guy that enjoys math from time to time. So, but I found it really interesting. And when I was writing Python code for it, it actually works. It's in my native language, which is Czech. I tried Python. It works quite well. It's not optimized anything, and it really doesn't work well beyond 5,000, which is, yeah, I don't know. I'm not best programmer as well, but you can see that it works. This is actually the algorithm that at this moment it prints to 5K,